Alright guys, First Descendant, right? This is the hottest game in the world right now. You must have seen this advert, right? It's been all the YouTube ad circulation, but I think it's out of the circulation. I haven't seen it in a while, but maybe you guys are seeing it, I don't know. But yeah, let's check this out. Let me break this down for you guys. So you see that robotics, you know, that's what they're pushing heavy now. That's already here, that technology. More of it. Okay, check this out. So this is robots. They're performing some kind of attachment or some kind of operation. See, this is what's going to happen when singularity is achieved. What do I mean by singularity? Singularity meaning that robots have attained a level of intelligence that surpasses that of humans. They surpass the capability of humans, and that's where robots like this are going to perform operations and surgeries and whatever by themselves. So that's coming. Humanoid robots. Humanoid robots are already out. They're in production as well. There's the new ones in production. They're always going to be creating new ones, but humanoid robots are advancing at quite a quick pace. And yes, we will see humanoid robots. Not with a spaceship. I don't believe in spaceships. I don't believe that, you know, humans have even been to space. But humanoid robots, yeah, that's real. So you can see this right there. That's some kind of grenade, right? Futuristic type of grenade. We hear about AI creating weapons. This is not all I'm gonna talk about. We're gonna go into a chat with it. We're gonna review a chat with Jeffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, at the end of this video. But they talk about AI weapons. This is an example of what it could be. Something like that, you know, some kind of futuristic grenade. Laser guns. Now, laser guns, the technology for laser weapons and using laser beams is already out there. The military already have them, but it's just not in a rifle or a pistol yet. But yeah, the military already have them. They're developing laser beams. You know, US military has them, UK, Israel, and probably a few other countries. I don't know what the hell this is. What the hell is that supposed to be? Some kind of Catwoman ability? That's what it looks like to me. Okay, jetpacks. Jetpacks actually exist, but it's not advanced to the level of what you see in like video games and movies. But yeah, jetpacks exist, and you have to assume that they will get to that level at some point. Of course, AI is going to accelerate all technologies. So will this be a great war? Will we see a great war between humans and robots? Will we see a Fallout type scenario where humans are trapped in a vault to protect us from robots, and then we're forced to become robots ourselves? I don't know. I don't know what's coming, but it doesn't look nice. I can tell you that much. It's a depressing future, but unfortunately, a lot of us were born too late. But that's why I say don't have kids, because it's only going to get worse. I mean, people in the future won't even be human. Humanity is finished, but we're going to talk about that more, right? So that's the First Descendant. We're going to move on now to this video, right? This is the Esper Bionics attachment, okay? So of course you can see they've got a young girl in a tight top. They know what they're doing here, right? But you can see she's going to attach this to her hand. You can see this right now. All right. Look at that. This is an early model, by the way. This is years ago, but This is not even AI controlled. I'm going to show you the AI controlled version next. But see, people would say this is great, right? It's bringing back the functionality of a hand to a disabled person. In theory, here's the issue. They're not going to stop developing this. So what happens when the functionality of this robot hand surpasses the functionality of a standard human hand, an arm, and body parts, whatever body part? What happens then? What happens when this girl can pick you up with that arm, do a 360 and throw you into the sky? See, they are rendering human beings useless because they're creating, with robots, they're creating body parts and intelligence that is superior to that of humans. So humans will become obsolete. This is a certainty. There's no consensus to stop this. We're going to talk about that later in a bit, but you can't stop it. And this is the future. Humans will have to become some form of robot. This is the future, guys. And of course they brainwash you, they sell you this. Oh, it's cool. That's what the whole sci-fi industry has been about. That's what the whole sci-fi industry is based around. This, replacing humanity with robots to make it cool to the people. See, you guys didn't know that. You didn't think about that. That's what the whole thing is about, and gaming is a big part to play. That's why they love gaming so much. So yeah, that's the earlier version of the robotic bionic hand, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go to the AI powered version.
Sarah,
check this out.
You have a truly remarkable story. Will you share that with us?
Yes, of course. So just about 12 months ago, I was in a terrible train accident, and as a result,
of course, you got a sob story.
I lost my
They know how to pull a sob story to sell it to the people.
Right leg below the knee, and I lost my arm above the elbow.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. And so you've been fitted with a prosthetic arm. Those are nothing new, but what makes this one special?
So this one's pretty special because this is what we call a bionic arm, and it's powered by artificial intelligence.
Okay, now I understand at this point you've got a party trick to show us involving a can, is that right?
Look what they call a party trick. Check this out, guys.
What I wanted to show you is that I've got a movable wrist that can turn all the way round.
Oh yeah, that's funny, right? See how they brainwash the kids? Why have they brought a bunch of young kids to this? They want to brainwash you. That's why I say how they program you to accept your own replacement, right? In the end times, because this is what they're doing. They're brainwashing the young kids. Oh, look, the kids are wide-eyed. Oh, look how amazing that is. And yeah, it looks amazing right now because you're not looking at the consequences.
Well.
Like I told you, they're not interested in just simply replacing the functionality that is lost with disabled people. They want to make it above and beyond the capabilities of a human.
Well, so let me try to crush this can for you. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be your throat in the future.
That really
if you don't comply with their policies.
It's quite a party trick. So how does your arm know how to do that?
Well, basically, the way it works is that I think about the movement that I want to make, and I twitch a series of muscles, and the muscle twitches are being recorded by 16 electrodes that are positioned inside the socket, and then transform that into electric impulses that run through the forearm and powers the Covey hand, my bionic hand.
Okay, and where exactly does the AI come into the picture?
So the AI is a lot of data recording. It's basically every time I use the arm, every time I make a movement, it records it. It starts to learn how I use the arm, and it starts to predict the movements that I want to make, including rotating it like that.
I could watch that all night.
Completely unnecessary.
Okay, so the AI is being trained on your body, but is your body and your brain, are they adapting to the AI?
So I did have a lot of training to understand, because it's very different to think about a movement, and it's more difficult to control it when it is bionic. But when I take the arm off at night and I recharge it like an iPhone, then I miss it.
How would your life have been like without this arm?
Well, I have to say that this world is being designed for people with two hands, everything.
Of
Think
course it
about
is.
the zipper on your coat, for example, or on your bag, on your rucksack. Think about a parcel, a packaging. For everything, you need to have two hands, one to hold it down and the other one to rip off the lid on something. And with the arm, it helps.
Okay. Now, this technology.
Yeah, but the people creating this aren't interested in just replacing what human beings can do. They're using disabled people to pull on your heartstrings to get you to basically buy into something that is going to replace you as a human. And a lot of people don't care. A lot of these science sci-fi geeks, they know what's going on and they like it.
Is evolving. AI is moving very fast. What do you hope this arm is going to be able to do in the future?
So I really hope that this is going to evolve, become even more performant, because the idea is that
Of course, it's going to evolve.
at the
You think they're
moment
going to
it
stop?
takes me about 10 seconds to think about a movement and then execute it. That's the AI part that hopefully will reduce that time and become instantaneous, like my other hand.
Okay. So as the AI gets better and better, that's going to help you in your life.
And I really dream that one day I can go back to riding a bike, and if I'm lucky, maybe I can drive a car again.
Okay. Sarah,
Yeah, nobody's against that.
that is a truly remarkable story. Thank you so much for sharing it with us.
I can't stand this guy, bro.
You, Sarah.
Yeah, that's enough of that, bro. That's enough of that. Let's get into the final video. We're going to talk about the future of AI with the AI expert, or the future of humanity, rather, and AI, of course, with the AI expert, Jeffrey Hinton. So check this out.
So, I mean, talk to us about that. I mean, you spent your career, on the technicalities of this technology. Is there no technical fix? Why can we not build in guardrails or make them worse at learning, or restrict the way that they can communicate, if those are the two strings of your argument?
I mean, we're trying to do all sorts of guardrails. But suppose they did get really smart. And these things can program, right? They can write programs. And suppose you give them the ability to execute those programs, which we'll certainly do. Smart things can outsmart us. So, imagine your 2-year-old saying, my dad does things I don't like, so I'm going to make some rules for what my dad can do. You could probably figure out how to live with those rules and still get what you want.
Of course, because human beings are powerful on this earth only because of intelligence. Human beings dominate the earth because of intelligence. We're not the strongest being, we're not the fastest being, we're not the most durable being, but we dominate because of our intelligence. Once our intelligence is surpassed by AI, if effectively human beings become obsolete, and you'll be forced to fuse with the AI in order to stay on the planet. But then you will lose your humanity. So, this is where we're going.
Yeah. But there still seems to be a step where these smart machines somehow have motivation of their own.
Yes, that's a very good point. So we evolved, and because we evolved, we have certain built-in goals that we find very hard to turn off, like we try not to damage our bodies. That's what pain's about. We try and get enough to eat, so we feed our bodies. We try and make as many copies of ourselves as possible, maybe not deliberately with that intention, but we've been wired up so there's pleasure involved in making many copies of ourselves. And that all came from evolution, and it's important that we can't turn it off. If you could turn it off, you don't do so well. Like, there's a wonderful group called the Shakers, who are related to the Quakers, who make beautiful furniture, but didn't believe in sex. And there aren't any of them around anymore.
No.
So these digital intelligences didn't evolve. We made them. And so they don't have these built-in goals. And so the issue is, if we can put the goals in, maybe it'll all be okay. But my big worry is, sooner or later, someone will wire into them the ability to create their own sub-goals. In fact, they almost have that already. The versions of ChatGPT that call ChatGPT. And if you give something the ability to create its own sub-goals in order to achieve other goals, I think it'll very quickly realize that getting more control is a very good sub-goal because it helps you achieve other goals. And if these things get carried away with getting more control, we're in trouble.
So what's the worst case scenario that you think is conceivable?
Oh, I think it's quite conceivable that humanity is just a passing phase in the evolution of intelligence. You couldn't
You
direct.
hear that? You hear that? Let's play that again. Let's play that again because that's important.
What's the worst case scenario that you think is conceivable?
Oh, I think it's quite conceivable that humanity is just a passing phase in the evolution of intelligence.
Okay, so what does that mean? He's saying that as human beings became smarter, they created the AI technology, which will in turn become smarter than humans and replace humans. And he's saying this is evolution of human intelligence. So basically, is the end of humanity. That's basically what he's saying. Because, like I said before, humanity is only in the position they're in because of intelligence.
You couldn't directly evolve digital intelligence. It requires too much energy and too much careful fabrication. You need biological intelligence to evolve so that it can create digital intelligence.
I like to go natural intelligence.
The digital intelligence can then absorb everything people ever wrote
Absolutely.
in a fairly slow way, which is what ChatGPT has been doing. But then it can start getting direct experience of the world and learn much faster. And it may keep us around for a while to keep the power stations running, but after that, maybe not. So the good news is we figured out how to build beings that are immortal. So these digital intelligences, when a piece of hardware dies, they don't die. If you've got the weights stored in some medium and you can find another piece of hardware that can run the same instructions, then you can bring it to life again. So we've got immortality, but it's not for us.
So
Ray Kurzweil is very interested in
Humans will never have immortality.
being immortal. I think it's a very bad idea for old white men to be immortal. We've got the immortality, but it's not for Ray.
no, the scary thing is that in a way maybe you will be because you invented much of this technology. When I hear you say this, part of me wants to run off the stage into the street now and start unplugging computers. And
I'm afraid we can't do that.
why? You sound like Hal from 2001.
Exactly.
Yeah. But more seriously, I know you said before that it was suggested a few months ago that there should be a moratorium on AI advancement, and I don't think you think that's a very good idea. But more generally, I'm curious why. Should we not just stop? And I know.
I think.
Sorry, I was just going to say that I know that you've spoken also that you're an investor of your personal wealth in some companies like Cohere that are building these large language models. So I'm just curious about your personal sense of responsibility and each of our personal responsibility. What should we be doing? Should we try and stop this, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think if you take the existential risk seriously, as I now do, I used to think it was way off, but I now think it's serious and fairly close. It might be quite sensible to just stop developing.
So that means you're behind the curve. That's what it means. It means that you thought that there wasn't a risk. So anything that you say now, how are we supposed to take that seriously when you're saying that you were already behind the curve and you are still probably now?
These things any further. But I think it's completely naive to think that would happen. There's no way to make that happen. And one reason, if the US stops developing and the Chinese won't,
that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna blame China, right? And I'm not saying that China's blameless in this case, but they're gonna use China as an excuse to keep developing it. When, let's be honest, Google, Microsoft, they want to develop it anyway. It's not that they're only developing it because they want to compete with China. I mean, but you know, China became the leading state in the world in 2020. Remember what happened in 2020, and they were telling us to follow China, follow China. Oh, look, China stopped it. You know, now we have to follow China's tactics. China became the lead. Now they're saying, oh, we can't stop doing it because of China, right? Which is BS when you really think about it.
weapons. And just for that reason alone, governments aren't going to stop developing them.
Okay, so China can develop weapons. Okay, so let's say that they don't have the weapons yet, right? I don't know what the full scale of what their weapons they've developed in China, but let's say right now US and NATO can defeat China militarily. Why don't they do it? If it's true, if your argument is justified that China is the issue, just eliminate China then and save the world. But you're not going to do that because the corporations don't want it to stop. They want them to do it so they can use it as an excuse to keep doing it.
So, yes, I think stopping developing them might be a rational thing to do, but there's no way it's going to happen. So
It's
it's
not
silly
going to
to sign
happen.
petitions saying, please stop
It's not
now.
going to happen.
We
These
did
people who say, oh, we got power, we can stop the AI, they're just lying to gain status. You can't stop it. It's unstoppable at this point.
have a holiday. We had a holiday from about 2017 for several years because Google developed the technology first. It developed the transformers. It also developed the
You
fusion
see, Google developed it first, so it's not China.
motors. And it didn't put them out there for people to use and abuse. It was very careful with them because it didn't want to damage its reputation and it knew there could be bad consequences. But that can only happen if there's a single leader. Once OpenAI had built similar things using transformers and money from Microsoft, and Microsoft decided to put it out there, Google didn't have really much choice. If you're going to live in a capitalist system, you can't stop Google competing with Microsoft.
Well, you know, that sounds like a cop out to me. I mean, if we were living under a real democratic system, we would be able to vote under consensus to stop AI. If it was a real democratic system, we'd be able to say, look, it's harmful to human beings. Uh, you know, you have to stop. You have to stop within limits, right? But we can't do that. We have no say in this AI technology. We have zero say in it. Just like what happened in 2020, they locked us down. We had no say in it. This is the way of the world. There is no democracy. That democracy is just a fake sham that they made up to make you believe that you've got a say. You ain't got no say. We're slaves under this system, and it's just as simple as that.
So I don't think Google did anything wrong. I think it was very responsible to begin with. But I think it's just inevitable in a capitalist system or a system with competition between countries like the US
No,
and
I'm not
China
buying that. I'm
that
not
this stuff
buying that,
will be
bro.
developed.
And the whole US and China argument is ridiculous. I already
My
explained
one
why
hope
it's
is that
ridiculous.
because if we allowed it to take over, it will be bad for all of us. We could get the US and China to agree, like we could with nuclear weapons, which were bad for all of us.
No, because China and the US both want to keep developing AI. So when you say it's bad for all of us, but they want to keep doing it, and you say you can't stop them, so why would they stop it? It's not like they don't want to do it, they want to keep doing it. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Oh, it's nuclear weapons, but nuclear weapons, I mean, I don't know about nuclear weapons. I don't even know if they even exist. I'm not an expert on that, but that's not the point of the discussion anyway. But if they wanted to use them, they would. But I don't think any nation wants to use them if they have them.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat with respect to the existential threat. So we all ought to be able to cooperate on trying to stop it.
As long as we can.
So we're slave to the government, okay? And the government has all the power, but yet we're living in a democracy. How about you just eliminate China and have a real democracy? Oh, but we can't have that, right? Because we're slaves under the system. So don't fall for this politic, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, all that stuff is a scam. It's all a scam.
Make some money on the way. I'm going
All right, guys, so that's the video, man. If you want to watch the full one, links are in the description. It's a real man here's truth and man. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you want already, make sure to hit that notification bell so you're involved every time I do a new video.